All right, so some of you lot have been bugging us to do a deep dive on this Erik Ten Hag fella.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's got an opinion on the guy, especially after that whole Manchester United fiasco.
And let's be honest, it was a proper shit show, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
From Champions League hero to getting sacked by a club that's been in a downward spiral for years.
It's a wild story, that's for sure.
So let's rewind a bit, shall we? Where the hell did this guy even come from?
Well, he's Dutch, born and bred.
Obviously with a name like Ten Hag.
1970 in the Netherlands.
Back when Cruyff was still strutting his stuff.
Total football, the good old days.
And Ten Hag, he was a player back then too, right?
Yeah, center back.
Bit of a hard man, I reckon.
Maybe, but his playing career wasn't exactly glittering.
No trophies or anything?
He won a couple of things, actually.
Like what?
The Eerste Divisie with the Graafschap.
The what?
It's like the second tier of Dutch football.
Oh, right. So not exactly the Champions League then.
And he won the KNVB Cup with 20.
The Dutch FA Cup. Yes. All right, so not a complete nobody then.
But definitely not a superstar.
So when did he hang up his boots?
Retired at 32 back in 2002.
That's pretty young, isn't it?
And maybe he just had enough of the bullshit.
Or maybe he knew he was destined for bigger things.
Could be.
So he jumped straight into management, right?
Not quite. He went back to 20, but this time as a youth coach.
Paying his dues, learning the ropes.
Exactly. Then he had a stint as an assistant at PSV.
PSV Eindhoven.
Yeah, one of the big boys in the Netherlands.
So he was working with some top players, top managers.
Definitely. It's probably where he picked up a lot of his tactical nous.
All right, so when did he finally get his chance as the main man?
2012. Go ahead, Eagles.
Go ahead, Eagles. What kind of a name is that?
They're a real team.
Sound like they should be playing in someone's back garden.
Well, they were in the second division when Ten Hag took over.
Huh.
He got them promoted to the Eredivisie in his first season.
First season. Not bad for a rookie manager.
Yeah, he definitely made a statement.
So is that when the big clubs started sniffing around?
Well, his next move was interesting. He went to Bayern Munich the second.
Bayern Munich. The German Giants?
Yeah, but their reserve team.
So not exactly the glamour giant.
Not at first glance, no. But think about it. He's at one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Learning from the best, I suppose.
Exactly. And he did a good job there, too. Got them promoted from the Regional Liga Bayern.
So 2 promotions and 2 jobs. This guy's got a knack for it.
He was definitely building a reputation.
But still, Bayern Munich to second. That's a far cry from the Champions League.
All in good time. He wasn't going to rush things.
So what happened next?
He went back to the Netherlands.
Homesick?
Maybe. Or maybe he just felt it was the right move for his career. He landed at Utrecht in 2015.
Utrecht? Another one of those Dutch teams I've vaguely heard of.
They're a decent side, and Ten Hag had a pretty successful time there.
What did he win?
He didn't win any silverware, but he took them to the KNVB Cup final.
So, close but no cigar.
And he got them into the Europa League playoffs.
Europa League, all right. Starting to move up in the world.
That's a recurring theme with Ten Hag, actually.
What do you mean?
He consistently gets teams punching above their weight, qualifying for European competitions.
So he's got this underdog mentality.
Maybe. Or maybe he's just that damn good.
But Utrecht, that's still small fry compared to what comes next.
Oh, yeah. This is where things get really interesting. Ajax.
Ajax Amsterdam. The Dutch Masters. The team of Cruyff, Van Basten, Rijkaard.
Exactly. And in 2017, they were in a bit of a state.
How so?
They were out of all the cups, out of Europe, languishing in the league.
Well, a proper mess then.
Total chaos. And that's when Ten Hag walks in.
Talk about trial by fire.
He didn't shy away from the challenge, though.
What was his first game in charge?
The Klassiker.
The big one, against Feyenoord.
Yep. And guess what?
He bottled it.
He won. 2-0.
No way. In his first game?
First game. Sent a message to everyone.
This guy means business.
He doesn't fuck around.
And that's just the beginning of the Ten Hag legend at Ajax.
Oh, yeah. The best is yet to come. Champions League glory, domestic dominance, the whole shebang.
We'll get to all that juicy stuff after the break. Don't go anywhere. So we left off with Ten Hag making a splash at Ajax, winning his first game in charge. What happened next?
Well, he didn't just rest on his laurels after that first win.
Let me guess. He went on to win the Champions League with them.
Not quite, but he came pretty damn close.
All right, spill the beans.
In the 2018-19 season, he took Ajax all the way to the Champions League semifinal.
The semifinals. Shit, that's impressive.
It was a magical run. They knocked out Real Madrid, the reigning champions.
No way. Those guys with Ronaldo and all that.
Yep, they beat them 4-1 at the Bernabeu.
At their own ground. That's got to sting.
And then they beat Juventus in the quarterfinals.
Juventus? Without Ronaldo fell again.
The very same.
Right.
Ajax were playing some incredible football.
So what happened in the semifinals? Who stopped them?
Tottenham Hotspur.
Tottenham.
Yeah, it was a heartbreaking way to go out.
How so?
They lost on away goals after a last-minute winner from Lucas Moura.
That sucks. So close to the final.
It was a tough one to swallow, but that Ajax team won a lot of admirers that season.
They played some entertaining football, that's for sure.
And Ten Hag was the mastermind behind it all.
So what about his domestic record with Ajax? Did he win anything there?
Oh yeah, he cleaned up in the Eredivisie.
The Dutch league.
Yep, 3 titles in 4 years.
That's pretty dominant.
And they weren't just winning, they were playing some scintillating football.
Give us an example.
Remember that 13-0 win against VVV Venlo?
13-0. Holy shit. That's got to be some kind of record.
Biggest Eredivisie win ever.
Jesus. Sounds like Ten Hag had them playing like a well-oiled machine.
He'd built a fantastic team with a blend of youth and experience.
And then Manchester United came calling.
The biggest club in England, or at least they used to be.
Fallen from grace a bit in recent years, haven't they?
Definitely. But still a massive job, a huge opportunity for Ten Hag.
So what happened? Did he manage to turn things around at Old Trafford?
Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest.
Mixed bag? What does that even mean?
He had some highs and some lows. He won a couple of trophies.
Like what?
The EFL Cup in 2023 and the FA Cup the following year.
Right, so not a complete disaster then.
But then there were those heavy defeats.
Like that 7-0 drubbing against Liverpool.
Yeah, that was a tough one to watch.
Must have been a long bus ride back to Manchester after that.
And ultimately, it all ended in tears.
He got the sack, didn't he?
Yeah, after a poor start to the 2024-25 season, he was shown the door.
So what's the verdict on Ten Hag's time at Manchester United? Success or failure?
It's hard to say. He won a couple of trophies, which is more than most United managers have achieved in recent years.
True.
But he also oversaw some embarrassing defeats and couldn't get the team consistently performing at the level expected of them.
I guess that's the pressure of managing a club like Manchester United.
The fans demand success. The media scrutiny is intense.
And the owners are a bunch of clueless Americans.
It's not an easy job, that's for sure.
So what's next for Erik Ten Hag?
Well, he's still a relatively young manager.
And he's got a proven track record of success.
Exactly. I'm sure there will be plenty of clubs interested in his services.
Maybe he'll go back to Ajax.
Or maybe he'll try his luck in another top league.
Serie A La Liga.
Who knows? Only time will tell.
Well, we've covered Ten Hag's journey from those humble beginnings in the Dutch second division to the bright lights of the Premier League.
We've seen his tactical brilliance, his ability to develop young players, his unwavering belief in his own philosophy.
And we've also seen his struggles, his frustrations, the pressure that comes with managing at the highest level.
It's been a wild ride, that's for sure.
But we're not done yet. We still need to delve into the tactical side of things.
What makes Ten Hag tick as a manager? What's his secret sauce?
We'll get into all that after the break. Stay tuned. Right, so we've had a look at Ten Hag's roller coaster of a career. But what actually makes the guy tick? How does he set up his teams? What's his managerial philosophy? You mentioned tactics before the break.
Oh yeah, Ten Hag's a proper student of the game, a real football nerd. He's obsessed with that beautiful flowing football, all about keeping possession, passing it around, moving like a well-oiled machine. You know, he wants his team to basically suffocate the other team, control the tempo, and dictate everything that happens on the pitch.
So a bit like that Guardiola bloke at Man City then. All that tiki-taka bollocks.
There are similarities, yeah. But Ten Hag's not just a Guardiola wannabe. He's got his own little tweaks to the system, adapts it to suit his players and the opposition, you know. He's a bit more, well, pragmatic than Guardiola, I'd say.
Pragmatic, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's not afraid to get his hands dirty, mix it up a bit.
Exactly. He's not afraid to go direct if he needs to. Can play a high press or sit back and absorb pressure, depending on who he's up against. He's got that tactical flexibility.
Right. So he's not just some stubborn twat who's stuck in his ways then.
No, not at all. The guy's a proper thinker, always analyzing, always looking for ways to get one over on the opposition, to find those little weaknesses and exploit them. That's what makes him so dangerous as a manager. You never quite know what he's going to pull out of the bag next.
Interesting. But what about the players then? How does he handle those prima donnas? Is he all chummy with them? Or does he rule with an iron fist?
He's definitely demanding, expects a lot from his players, you know, but he's not a shouter, not one of those managers who throws teacups around the dressing room. He's more about Well, communication, I guess. Sets clear expectations, makes sure everyone knows their role, and creates that culture of accountability.
So a bit like that stern teacher we all had, the one who pushed you to be your best but didn't make you feel like a complete idiot when you messed up.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. He's got that quiet authority about him, but he's also really good at connecting with his players on a personal level. Understands their strengths and weaknesses and helps them to develop to reach their full potential.
And he's got a bit of a knack for bringing through young players, doesn't he? Look at what he did at Ajax, all those kids who went on to become superstars.
Yeah, he's got a real eye for talent, and he's not afraid to give those youngsters a chance. Creates an environment where they can, they can flourish, express themselves, and aren't afraid to take risks.
And those risks sometimes pay off big time, right? That Champions League run with Ajax, those kids were fearless.
It was amazing to see. They played with such confidence, such swagger, and that comes from the manager, He instilled that belief in them, gave them the freedom to play their natural game, but within a structured system.
Okay, so Ten Hag's got it all then. Tactically sound, good with players, develops young talent, a proper managerial genius.
Well, nobody's perfect, are they? Even in the crazy world of football. And I think one of Ten Hag's weaknesses might be, well, his stubbornness.
Stubbornness? Hang on, I thought you said he was adaptable.
He is most of the time, but sometimes he can be a bit too attached to his way of doing things. When things aren't working, he can be slow to change, slow to compromise.
So he needs to learn to be a bit more flexible. Maybe that's a lesson he learned from that Man United experience, that the Premier League is a different beast altogether. Can't just waltz in there and expect to boss everyone around.
Yeah, maybe that's it. You've got to be able to adapt, to adjust your game plan, to counter what the other team is doing. And that's something Ten Hag will have to work on if he wants to, well, to reach the very top again.
Right. So what's next for Ten Hag? Back to the Netherlands. Or will he try his luck somewhere else?
It's tough to say, really. But I wouldn't bet against him. He's got that Dutch determination,
Yeah.
He'll be back, mark my words.
All right, so there we have it. The Erik Ten Hag story, warts and all. From Dutch League nobody to Champions League near miss to Manchester United flop. It's been a hell of a ride.
We've seen the highs, the lows, the moments of brilliance and the not so brilliant moments. But one thing's for sure, that guy's a fascinating character.
Love him or hate him, you can't deny that Ten Hag's made his mark on the game. And who knows what the future holds for him. One thing's for sure, though, it's going to be interesting to see what he does next.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of Erik Ten Hag. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep it real.
Cheers, folks.